Stream. There you go. I don't want to stream. We're gonna record here. It is July 29th, Tuesday at 8 a.m. We're going to talk a little bit about Wrath of the Heavens. This phase is quite nice with a little bit of sim as well. And if you have ever done UCOB, this is UCOB 2.0. A lot of the mechanics you'll see and you'll be familiar with, I'll give you a little bit of nostalgia, are from repeats in this phase, which is interesting. Anyways, so when Thornton spawns, the setup is he'll start facing south. You know, instead of like turning him or anything like that for positionals, just start your autos south. Just don't get cleaved by those autos. Use short mitts. They're all good. He's going to start doing his smacky smack, and then he's going to cast Wrath of the Heavens. So there are a number of jobs, just like UCOB, where you have to know, you can either get one job or up to 3 jobs. So knowing what each job does, and then just sort of building how to resolve them. And yes, you will have to move, sometimes you'll have to move a little bit differently because you got an extra set of jobs that you need to perform during this mechanic. So it's always good in the back of your mind to obviously know each job, and then be able to, you know, a test of your reflex, react to the different jobs that you might potentially get. So the first kind of rule is once Thor disappears, you are looking for the 3 trios, very much like Quick March in UCOB. The 2 Dragoons and the White Dragon. So you're going to look at that. There's going to be also a couple of other dragons on the arena. You don't really care about that, but you're going to see that these dragons are very close to each other. So that becomes our new north. And with that being said, if everyone starts looking for that and sees that they fall down, you can kind of do a soft spread just to make sure that you're not tether and deformation so you don't get confused. Now, the first job I want to talk about is, we're going to just pull these bosses. The first job I want to talk about is the deformation. This guy. So you get a blueberry, much like the blueberry of strength. You get a blueberry, you're going to explode. You want to explode, obviously, away from the group. So using New North as the reference, you will be New Northwest. Now, the caveat is that if you go too far south, you're going to hit the poor DPS with the tether. So you can't go too far south, but you can't go too far north because you're going to get hit with the tether. So a good rule of thumb is that if you are here to find where you need to be, you want to be roughly 4 to 5 ticks from the fidget spinner. So the fidget spinner is roughly around here. You want to be 4 or 5 ticks away so that you're not too close to the spiral piercing attack, which is a tether attack, and you're not too south so that you hit this poor deformation. Do know that if you are DFAM player, you want to move everybody. This is a rule for everybody, actually. As soon as the tethers disappear, just like UCOB, you're going to be baiting a twister. So when you bait your twister, whether you're walking forward or whatever, just try to be in the very back to set up for the Ascalon Mercy Concealed, which is that conal cleave that you saw very early on in Phase 2. The only reason I really say back up, especially because you're in this top area, is that you can get Ultrapire. Ultrapire is that big eruption AoE. You only drop 4 of them, but if the warrior is also north where you kind of are, New North where you kind of are, you gotta make sure that you don't cover that space with Ultrapire. Very important to not cover that space and, you know, kill everybody in there. So, you won't get, what does I want to say? You can also get Liquid Hell. So, or Liquid Heaven, sorry, my bad. I'm so used to saying UCOB, but Liquid Hell is those 5 smaller puddles that you have to make sure that you don't touch, and you have to make sure that you don't put it near these poor guys back here, right? So you can actually, if you do get Liquid Heaven, you can actually run around the backside and then come around because they're small enough, but you don't want to run towards these poor guys over here, these tether guys, because they will instantly die if they get hit with your Liquid Heaven bleed. So it's always a good rule of thumbs that if you're in this role and you get either Liquid Heaven and stuff like that, you want to make sure that you don't kill your friends. Smile. The next role I would like to talk about, if you get it, is the tether role. And it's quite simple. You grab it. I do wish that the toolbox was a little bit better, because the trick sometimes people ask me is, how do I know if I'm far enough away from my code tether, and then how do I know if I'm not stressed too far enough so I don't angle it so I can kill a DPS on the other side, right? Especially for the person here. I recommend actually, and it doesn't show it in the toolbox, but you actually line up with the line here on the ground. Line up your tether. So I would actually, so this will give you the closest possibility of getting not too close to this guy, but not too angled weird, so that you just have a smaller safe space on the side. And this is like extremely important because people can actually gauge how much ticks they can go, right? Because the longer you have a different angle, like let's say the summoner brought this angle here to Delta, there's a good chance that the poor guy over here with a deformation will get clipped by the spiral piercing and die, and that's not good either. So bringing your stretching your tether, crossing your tether, and being at the edge and lining up at these lines on the ground here is a really good habit to get into. That again will be close enough to the code, but not too far so that it doesn't angle it weirdly. You also have to be at the edge of the wall. If you don't make it to the edge of the wall, it's an insta death. It just really, really does hurt. As healers, these are your biggest pain in the ass. This is why you're overmitting this in your NAUR middies. It just fucking hurts here. So these players not only have a possibility of getting lightning debuff, but which also does a little itty bitty damage, but they take the most hits during this mechanic too. So after you get hit, I'm just gonna move on the timeline, just ignore the rest of the people. So the bard and the summoner move as soon as the tether disappears. You're moving toward the twister, and then yeah, I didn't really like how they did that, but you just need to know that after that twister, your spot is going to be rotating clockwise. And the reason for that is, well, there's two reasons. You don't want to get someone over here. These people are going to get fucking hit by Liquid Heaven, and you won't want to be anywhere near them. Because tethers, when you get hit with a tether, you get a magical volume up. And if you get hit by Liquid Hell, it's just Jover for you. Even if it's like, if they're like roughly, and the puddle is like right there when you're standing beside them, you will just instantly die. And we don't want that to happen, so we just move out of the way. Tether people, you do have a possibility of getting Altar Pyre. So please note that moving away, again, if the warrior is south, you want to put your Altar Pyre not behind the warrior, because it will cover up that safe spot. So you're moving not only in case you get Altar Pyre, but you're also moving away so that these fuckers who have Liquid Heaven doesn't kill you. So it's also a nice reminder to just kind of move, just get the fuck out of the way. Move always clockwise. You're always going to move clockwise from the new north spots. Obviously dodging your twister. So you get cleaved here, and it is wonderful. I think in this iteration, yeah, this shows that tethers can get Altar Pyre. I don't know why the toolbox is so tiny, but this is an old toolbox. Altar Pyre is massive. If you ever done the primal eruptions in Uwu, this is tiny comparatively. The Altar Pyre that we know and the eruptions that we know are just huge AoEs. They don't do damage, but they have like a little set. A couple minutes later, they'll explode. So you just want to Oh, yeah. That is true. It also shows this combination won't really happen. Lightning people do not get assigned puddles. That is correct. Um, yeah. Anyways, so again, you want to make sure that you stay away from this liquid hell as a bard and the summoner who was and then you just kind of have to get to drop your 4 puddles and get to the warrior. So non-tether players. So we're just gonna go back to the beginning real quick here. So we talked about like the 2 spots is the non-tether players. If you don't get anything, okay? So you don't get anything, you just go east from the New North. You go east from the New North because you have a possibility of getting lightnings. You also will guarantee one of you people will be guaranteed to be baiting the dive bomb, which is the green thing over top of your head, very similar to Ukal. So you really can't miss it. It looks like deformation, but it's green. So just know that comes after you move for Twister. So we don't know who gets assigned during this thing, but after the Twister and after the dragons go through, one person will be assigned with the responsibility of baiting these 2 dragons on the outside because they will cleave through the middle. So I want to talk about the green deformation person or the green dive bomb person. While you are waiting, spreading out for, this and moving for your Twister, immediately as soon as you see the green, you have no time to hesitate. You have to be trying to, while you set up for this mechanic, you have to be trying to ready to see the warrior right away. As soon as these Twisters and tethers go off the arena, 2 knights will spawn and drop down. It's just like when we are in strength, we need to know where Thoradin will spawn. This is the same concept, except this time, everyone needs to know where the warrior spawns, because that will be the safe spot towards the end. So those cleaves happen. This warrior, so the warrior will spawn south here. New south, one would say. It can spawn up here. It can, it's always in line with the trio dragons. That's something that is also important to know. But if the warrior is south here, then the opposite of where the warrior is the mage, or I can't remember his name. If anyone remembers his name, he's like the white mage / black mage. Anyways, he has like that position. You just want to go opposite from the warrior when you're dropping your green dive bomb baits or deformations or whatever. And then from here on out, you want to be at the wall. You can't cheat in with your green marker. Okay? If you cheat in, there's a high chance that it will clip the people over here, because those, I'm just going to show you, this is a poor example, but these are huge across the arena. So it's important not to cheat for those baits, because you will clip the people here. So no cheating for you, but you have a long ways to run. So as you are running for those spots, so let's say you baited, you are going to go start your run as soon as the green marker disappears. As soon as the green marker disappears, you need to get your ass all the way up to the warrior. Now, there is a good chance that if you are the green deformation, you can get Altar Pyre. So be ready to get Altar Pyre, and you might have to do a little bit zigzag to drop your 4, but you can't delay your movement too much, because you gotta hustle it to the warrior. So drop your move as soon as that bait goes, and then just sort of zigzag your way if you get Altar Pyre, or beeline to the warrior as soon as that green marker disappears. Don't bait. Very important. You're very responsible for this. I've seen a lot of wipes, people just not reacting. I've seen a lot of people just die because they just don't move fast enough. They've asked me, when do I move? as soon as the green thing disappeared, because it's the dragons have locked onto that location of where you were standing, and yeah, it's kind of there. So I know that when people use AM for this fight, and it targets lightnings, it targets lightnings very early on, before you can get this green thing. I do know that it sometimes tricks people because they just see that little number on top of their head and not the green debuff on top of it. So that's a very common mistake. So if you are in a party that uses AM, do take a second look to see, especially right after those twisters happen, to check if you are the dive bombs, because you don't want to wipe the group. Because everyone can do the mechanic right, but you have a very important responsibility that if you do your job wrong, you will just kill everybody. So I've just seen that happen a little bit too much. And the last job I want to talk about is the lightning person. In the very beginning, we don't know who's selected for lightning. Okay, lightning will be applied right before the dragons or the tethers disappear. So it's a little bit of combination of like, get your setup going. Right before you need to move, lightning will appear on 2 players. And again, if you have AM, this is going to be very easy. But if you are not working with AM, this is what you're listening and looking for. You're going to hear, if you are chosen for lightning, you're going to hear a little zizzle. Zzz, sound effect that will be applying to you. You'll take a little bit of damage, right? And you get this nice purple debuff right beside you, counting down. Okay? So, your job is that you're going to get behind the warrior. When I say behind the warrior, so if the warrior spawns here, and you're going to look for this outer ring. Okay? This outer ring is where the warrior, even if the warrior's hip here, you're still looking for at this outer ring. And you're going to be behind the warrior's butt cheek and explode there. So if you've ever done Ukon, you're making Mickey Mouse ears. Same concept, same thing. Your lightning buddy should be right here on the left butt cheek or the right butt cheek, and same for your lightning partner, right butt cheek. You can very early on see where the other person is, even if you don't have AM, even if you're not looking at the party list and say, who is my lightning partner? If you go immediately and pre-position, I'm going to take the side, and it is, once again, if you're not using AM, first come, first serve to that lightning butt cheek spot, unless you are in a call, you call left or right butt cheek of the warrior, and then tomato. If you are using AM, which I do see this often in Party Finder, it is usually, and I say usually because it's not always, it is usually number 1, do not ignore marker is left butt cheek. And this is, again, you're placing yourself on this ring here. Don't go too far, because the AoE is not that far, but you want to make sure that you are placing your edge in the AoE over here. And then do not ignore 2, marker 2, is on the right side. However, this doesn't always the case. Some people just like to pre-position on one side and just, sit there. So just know that if you're ever wondering, that can happen. But it's usually left and right butt cheek, but it's not always the case. Just use your eyes at this point as well. So we're just going to, once you complete this mechanic, remember that Altiplier is 4. I've mentioned this earlier. And Lightning, and Liquid Heaven is 5 puddles. Yes, it's very important to know the difference. And just like Slurm said, if you are lightning, this iteration will not happen. You will not get a liquid bait. You can just go and fucking pre-position whenever you want. Okay? So that won't happen as well. I will say this, though. I've seen a lot of people, when they get this, they kind of freak out. So here are some of the tricks to handle that. When you are setting up for your cleaves, I don't like how this toolbox says, as well. Try to actually, as soon as you get, while you're setting up for your cleave with these, like, twister baits, as soon as you move and you see your twister, drop and stuff like that, you can actually, I don't know, I don't really like that they come closer in. You can actually give yourself space in the event you are Altar Pyre and in the event you are Lightning. Literally, what I'm trying to tell you, don't follow this toolbox. Go a little bit further back at the edge of the arena. So what I'm trying to say is, so that you can start your first puddle even on these solid 3 brick like circles, rows, whatever you want to call them. Just start your spot here, not up here, not at this line, because if you are at this line, this Altar Pyre will cover literally this half of the arena. So don't set yourself up for failure. Just start on the edge of your of the arena. It builds better consistency. It does make you not have to, cut across the middle and then cut off the poor guy running trying to save himself after baiting the dragons. So my trick I usually say is, if you're Altar Pyre, try to drop 2. Then try to drop closer and closer to the safe spot, right? So try to drop, if you're Altar Pyre, try to drop the 2 AoEs away from the warrior. So 1, 2. And then, as soon as you drop your second one, you drop your third one closer and closer, and then you go to the warrior. Or you can drop 3 and you can still make it to the warrior, but that's usually pretty tight. For Liquid Hell, I usually will say drop 4 Liquid Hells away. So usually if I'm the Liquid Hell here in this position, I would back up, go around, and then as soon as I say 1, 2, 3, edge to edge, I just curve like a J-hook. And again, if you've ever done UCOB, this is not going to be any more different than how you are resolving Liquid Heaven as well as Liquid Hell. Sorry, I use them interchangeably. Oh, if you have a gap closer, please, for the love of God, do not gap close into the safe spot before the puddle baits go out. Yes, absolutely. Don't gap close. Don't do it. Don't kill people. Yeah. Do respect the mechanic. It's a downtime mechanic, so just respect it. Do drop your liquid puddles 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I just hightail it. I hightail it, because if you're over here in your leg, then there's no way. You just don't want to drop your 3, 4 puddles in the center, cutting off people. Especially if you drop it in the center, and let's say the warrior's up here. These poor tether people will get hit by your Liquid Heaven, and they'll just die. So very important not to just run into the middle as liquid. So that's why sometimes you don't realize your Liquid Heaven right away. So it's also important just to be kind of staying back, and then even if you step forward, you're not stepping too close to the middle. You can J-hook around, change your direction as soon as you realized, right? And then you'll be making the arena safe. So very important to not be sloppy with those mechanics, because it does kill a lot of people. So that being said, once you completed this mechanic, dropping your puddles, 5 puddles here. Again, I don't really love this iteration of what they're doing. Again, I don't really love this picture. These Altar Pyres are way bigger than it actually is. Just go away and then back towards, because this is unrealistic. This will never happen in the game. So very important. I have a link to the sim here to even try that out, and even spacing. Think about spacing your Altar Pyres and stuff like that, because it does really well. And like I said, the warriors down here, you making Mickey Mouse ears. Boom, boom, and it's a donut AoE. And Thornton will drop down, and then you'll be able to hit him. When Thornton drops down, I just want to know, actually, going back to this, when you're running right about here, before this circle AoE off, tanks, you want to pop your 90-second mitts. So that is your shake, your Dark Missionary, your Heart of Light, then the reason why you want to pop it before this AoE, this donut AoE comes out, is because you won't have it up for Ancient Quagga. And you want it up for Ancient Quagga later on, after DOTH. So pop it before this comes out, and just try to remember that as you are doing the mechanic as well. Write that down somewhere, put a sticky note. It's very easy to forget. It's very easy to miss as a tank. So, very important to just pop your 90 seconds, because you're not going to have it. 90-second party mitt, I should say very specifically. Not your 90-second personal mitt, but your 90-second party mitt. After these AoEs go off, Thornton will start autoing. So, to prevent this, the main tank goes away from the group. Do keep in mind that the liquid heavens, if they're placed in the middle of the arena, do not step on them. They are still active, they're still very dangerous, and they still will kill you if you touch them. So move around them, get the autos away from the group. Do not cross through. Be mindful if you are tanking this fight. Mindful of those liquid heaven puddles. They do linger just a little bit longer, and they will kill you. So I've just seen that a couple times before. Don't do that. Just kind of move around them, get some autos to the face, and whatnot. So, the 4 rules. Remember, you move. Everyone should know this. You're looking for the warrior. Always, all the time, during this mechanic. The second rule is you move. Everyone moves for the tethers, and the snapshot is, I don't use the cast bar off the arena. I think the cast bar is not helpful. That's killed me way too many times. You move when the tether disappears. Very important to do that. It's not the same snapshot at UCOB, but it's a similar principle. So move when the tether disappears. And the last one is always spread for Ascalon Cleave. So I've seen this a lot, where when you're first starting this mechanic here, these people are so bunched up. They're kind of just spreading to their pre-early spreading. This is fine. It's whatever. It's fine. And then when these cleaves will go out, this person has so much room. These 4 people kill each other all the time. This Dragoon can come down a little bit more south. This ninja can go a little bit north, and these 2 can space out a little bit. This cleave here, they're bunched up. This doesn't need to be, you could just be safe. Just be safe. Go a little bit more north, and then to the wall in case you have Altarpire or Liquid Heaven. Go a little bit more south, and then to the wall, and then give these guys space in here. There's no need to bunch up like this, like the toolbox, so always just kind of spread. So those are your 3 rules everyone needs to know, regardless of what job it is. Okay? I just wanted to really iterate that, because I just seen too many people, they're like, okay, and then they get like, okay, what am I, and then they just don't move. And then, bam, they just, they hit each other with their cleave. And it's such a simple thing to miss, but it's just really something that, when you're first coming into it, it's a lot of visual clutter. It's very overwhelming. Your heart's probably racing and stuff like that. But just get in the habit of always spreading, always moving back to the wall after the twister, always checking your surroundings. Just get into the habit. It builds good habit. It builds consistency, and you don't develop any bad habits for that phase. So that is the end of that part. Now we do have a little bit of time to go through the setup for DOTH. I didn't want to talk too much about DOTH because there is some little nuances that I feel like the reason why people find DOTH so tricky is because they underestimate DOTH a little bit. So I want to spend a good chunk of that time going through DOTH in another week. But, hold on. I'm just going to pull up that. thing real quick. So, we are doing DOTH. We're doing this anchor. So the setup here in DOTH is super important. This is not set at all. So I know that if you've done fruit, if you've done top, there are actually like very specific setup spot. This DOTH is not really. It's like whoever can be closer to the middle and be used to adjusting, that is somebody, like, they're going to be, the people who are chads are going to be more confident because they can go anywhere in the arena. So if you are new and you just want to build a little bit more consistency, you do want to take the outer ends of the conga line, because then you limit your permutation, how many permutations you need to go to resolve this mechanic. So when you are doing this, the warrior that will only spawn on cardinals. So he can spawn on any cardinals. Again, these DOTH markers are incorrect. So, not really sure why we use the sausage roll in any URs, DSR, whatever, but that's fine. Just know that this is not quite the markers that we're looking at here. So everyone's going to line up at the warrior. The warrior can drop at any cardinal spots. He will never drop at an intercard spot. So that's important to know. So the warrior will drop at any cardinal spots. You line up in front of him because he becomes New North in this fight. There's a lot of fight. This is the fight where New North is like 90% of DSR. So he becomes New North. We line up in front of him, and these again don't have static roles or static positions like through and top. If you want to be a Giga Chad, you want to take the 2 in the middle because you have the possibility of going everywhere in the mechanic. Okay. So as the Doom spawns, whether you are choosing to AM this part or not, and I actually recommend you not, because I feel like AM is a little bit too slow and you need to react quite quickly. When you're doing AM, Dooms walk forward, non-Dooms don't move, but check your row. So if you've ever done P12S, Pangenesis, the lineup is still the same. You still need to check who's in your row and who moved up. So if you are, let's say you are on the 4 people on the right side, to check really fast, look to the left side. Sorry. If you're on the left side, I was pointing at the left. If you're on the left side of the conga, start your count left first. Okay. So especially if I was this gunbreaker here and there's only one Doom beside me, I automatically know that I'm going up. Now, if I was, this Dragoon and I know that this, Scholar is one side, I can go automatically up as well. So make it easier for yourself. You don't have to look at all 4 people when doing the Dooms, or even if you are in the middle adjusting, you can just look at your side. And I mean, if you're good at math, you can process and eliminate how many people you need to be. If there's 4 people, you're across the arena. If it's just 2, then you're on the same side that you pre-position in. Those are the kind of tricks I just wanted to help you, because it's a little silly if you are the ninja and then you pause and you do your count this way. Well, you're already furthest left, so go to the furthest left spot for the Dooms. You know what I'm trying to say is, so don't make this harder for yourself. If you're on the left side, look at your left, read your left people before you read the right people. You don't even have to read your right people. I hope that makes sense. I feel like it's the easiest way to do this mechanic is just favor the side and start your 1, 2, 3 count that way. Okay? When you get into position here, I'm gonna go, these are the DOTH positions. I don't really love this picture, but we're gonna pull up this one. Sorry, 1 second. Where is that picture? Hold on. It's a lot smoother as I talk about DOTH. Death of the Heavens is one of the most unrated and where everybody literally wipes. Oh no, I just need to open this link. So, I'm going to use this link because I really didn't like the... Oh god, why is it so big? It's so big! Wait, why is it 250? What the fuck? Anyways. Okay, so these are the doom positions, these black ones. Okay.
We can't see anything.
Oh, we can't, damn it.
Oh, we're looking at the toolbox.
We're looking at the toolbox. Shit, this is where I need to always do screen share because I always forget. These are where the dooms are, right? And then these position are where the, I don't super love this picture, but here is what I do want to say is for this, so you can see that the dooms are always in and always north. And then the non-dooms are always out and south. So if you remember that, that's just... The non-dooms will create a little translucent puddle, just like Ukam, where the dooms later on will have to cleanse. And this is why the strat is called Dooms Anchor South, because these 4 non-doom players will drop a translucent puddle, and they will they were dropping at specific places so you can cleanse. So that's why Doom Anchor South later on is the strat. So these are the 4 dooms. We identified the ninjas far left. The gunbreaker automatically goes north. And I didn't really look at this part because I was pretending that it was a gunbreaker. You don't really care. When you are pre-positioning for these north and southern positions, I hate that doesn't really show you very well. Yeah, it doesn't really show you very well. Okay, that's awful. Here, let me just gonna do this. Okay, I'll just say it here. So imagine this like 4 marker is where the fidget spinner is. You can't stand on the fidget spinner. You can't stand on the fidget spinner down here. You can't stand on the fidget spinner right here. You can't stand on the fidget spinner here. If you are in any of those places that adjust, you need to move into where. So remember that we all identified that Charbird is at New North. This is why we line up. Everybody should know where New North is, and regardless of what situation you are. But if you know where New North is, you're taking 2 ticks inwards, so you don't get hit by this dive bomb. These are set spots, and it's the same thing here. You're gonna take, if you're more southern, you're gonna take 2 ticks to the new south, not on the fidget spinner. So I just wanted to really emphasize that a lot of people die. And if you actually are using any UR waymarks, the waymarks are actually unsafe. Do not stand on the purple and yellow waymarks. Stand off of it, but obviously not too far off of it, because if you go, you're gonna get hit by other things in the arena. So don't do that. Just say 2 ticks away from the fidget spinner and get ready to move. These people that are here, these dooms are here, are on the black circle in the arena. I don't know if I can show it to you because it didn't. Okay, I'm just going to go back to this picture. They're going to be on this black circle here. Terrible that it doesn't show me that in here, but that's fine. So, they're going to be in the black circle, okay? And then the non-dooms are going to be at the edge of the wall. Please make sure that you are actually at the edge of the wall here. So when you are dealing with the earthshakes, this is really important, and this is a rule I usually have here during DOTH, is that you want to make sure that if you're a Doom player, you're going to be the closest. You're going to do the near dodge. Same thing you did in strength, you're going to be the near dodge. You're going to enter into the earthquake as soon as lightning hits you. Do not delay, do not move. When lightning hits you, you also get a twister underneath you. That's just an extra bonus for delaying. So as soon as lightning hits you, the earthquake is going off. Get into the earthquake. All the Doom players must enter the earthquake coming from the warrior. If you are not a lightning, okay, you are actually going to...
Doom, not a Doom.
Sorry, if you're actually not Doom, well, I don't know why I said lightning. Thank you. If you're actually not a Doom, you actually want to do your movement away from the warrior. So I actually look at this. So the warrior spawns New North, right? There's actually a dude that spawns South, and he's actually wearing a golden robe as well. And if I'm a non-Doom player, I actually, instead of walking towards, as a Doom player, you just walk towards the warrior. As a non-Doom player, I actually angle myself to walk towards the South golden robe dude. I think this is a lot easier than this picture that a lot of people have. So there's a picture that floats around here on the internet. I don't really love this, what it's describing you to do. It's not my biggest fan, because the person is right here, and you can just run to that person and then dodge this third earthquake and then run in. So, and then the faster you get in, the faster you can pre-position. You can look for, Thornton in the eye later on in the mechanic, and it's just a lot easier. So I just look at the guy who is down here. So these guys are going to walk towards, these two southern people are just going to walk towards the golden robe guy. The white mage and the bard is also going to walk towards the golden robe guy. And as soon as that third earthquake hits, you're going into the third earthquake, and you're going to line up north. We have 10 minutes. I guess we can. We'll go. This is where I kind of want to stop. We'll go over the nuances of who goes where for this next mechanic, and again, you can kind of see here that they go where this guy is, and then they move immediately in. Boom. Okay. I'm not gonna go through it, but and I know it says check gazes, for this part. You can actually check gaze very early on. If you get to your setup position, you can actually look where the safe spot is in the arena very early on, because the Thornton and the Eye will drop down on the outskirts of the arena, and you know where the safe spot is. I just want to leave you with this little tip here. If you find Thornton on, let's say, a red marker, look opposite. There is two possibilities where the Eye will spawn. So a nice trick rule that I have when resolving DOTH. I mean, this doesn't really matter to you. It's a lot of extra memorization. But it helped me when I was progging this, is that the possibilities of where to look is actually quite simple. The Eye and Thornton can be on the same color. So 180, that means you're looking at the what is perpendicular is safe. So if they spawn on red, blue will be safe. If they spawn on purple, yellow will be safe. You will always get that. There is also, where one of them spawns one marker away. So if Thornton spawns on the red Eye, or on Alpha, and then, for example, the Eye spawns one over, so they spawn at 2, right? Let's say just here. Don't look at these markers. These are terrible. Or they spawn southwest. You can, if you know where Thornton spawn and then look directly south, he will never spawn 90 degrees that way. The Eye will never spawn beside Thornton, right? He will always spawn 180 degrees or a little bit less than 180s. And that way, if you know which side that Eye will spawn, then if you kind of can make a triangle, very similar to strength, you can know where the gaze are, and then always dodge gaze. You don't have to spin your camera around. You can kind of just see it on the edge here, and then you will know right early on when you are either placing your doom or placing your puddles for the dooms. You can identify the safe spot before you even move in for the earthquakes. So I want to leave you with that piece in mind. And then we're going to go into a deep delve of Doom as well. The next week I'm going to show you how to sim as well, and what you're looking for. So there is a personal sim for both DOTH and Wrath that you can do on the computer, and it's really, really nice. And so we're not only next week, we're also not only going to go through DOTH, but I'm going to go through the sim for Wrath and DOTH at the same time. What you're looking for, what you can see in real time, and what you can be doing as practice. So, tomato, makes sense. Any questions? We're gonna stop the recording there.